falling for nobody else but you.
Alright guys, so today's video is going to be a collab video with a whole bunch of other YouTube moms. I will leave their links in the description down below, so be sure after you watch this to go check them out, and there should be a huge playlist that you can check all of their videos out as well. So the collab is a tag about mom confessions, and I think before I confess anything, I'm gonna need a little something. Give me 1 second. All right, I think this should do it. Some wine and then a nice big glass. That should work. So let's get on to these questions, shall we? So, number 1. You're standing with another mom at a playground and you notice that her underwear is showing. Do you tell her, and what do you say? I think it depends on the situation of what's going on. I most likely would tell them. Actually, I would always tell them, just how I think it depends on the situation about how I would go about that. So I can't really answer that for sure, because it would depend on how I would approach her. But I would definitely tell them, because I would hope someone would do the same for me. If you had a 25-hour day and everyone else still had a 24-hour day, what would you do with the extra time? I think there are a couple of different things that I would do. Selfishly, I would probably take like a nice long bath with a bath bomb and a glass or bottle of wine. I don't drink that much, but when I do, I like to drink, and not in excess, but you know. And then if I wasn't being selfish, I forgot to mention this, I would probably clean my house. I don't know if that's being selfish. I don't really think it is, but I would clean my house. Number 3, is there a food that you think is really gross, but you still make your kids eat because it's really good for them? Not really. Like, I like most vegetables. I like most meats. So I kind of just make whatever I'm eating myself and then give that to Kenton, because I feel that I've got a pretty well balanced taste palette. But there are things that Kenton likes that are good for him that I don't like, that I make him. So like, he likes brown beans and I'm not a particularly big fan of brown beans. So I'll cook him brown beans, but I won't eat them. Number 4, if you were stranded with your kids, what are 3 things you'd hope you'd have on hand? With my son, I would definitely want a phone so that he could watch Blippi, because otherwise I don't know what I would do. Mind you, stranded on an island, he'd probably do, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, there's a raccoon. Guys, what is going on in my life? If you were stranded with your kids, what are 3 things you'd hope you'd have on hand? Yes, so I hope I would have a phone to keep him semi-distracted. Also like clothes that are appropriate for the weather, and food. I think I could survive with those items. So I hope. Yeah. Number 5. What kids show do you wish you could eliminate so that no mom ever had to sit through it again? I think I would also have to say Blippi. It's not really a kid's show. He is a kid's show, but he's a kid's show on YouTube. And he's very educational, and my son loves him, but he's great, but I watch him way too much. Number 6. What age did your kids stop embarrassing you and you started to embarrass them? I don't really feel like Kenton's ever really embarrassed me. He might start to now. He's starting to remember things and repeat them back. So like if we've done something earlier in the day, so this may be the turning point where, oh, maybe he may say something that I don't want him to, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. But I definitely embarrass him. He is not a particular fan of my singing or dancing, but I do it anyways, and he tells me to stop, but I typically don't. Number 7, what's something in your house that for some reason only your mom eyes can see? Nothing. If there is something in this dang house that I don't want Kenton to see, or I do want him to see, he will typically see it. Like, if I'm asking him to go get something that's his or that he's looking for, I'm trying to point it out, it may take a minute, but he finds it. What would you change about your favorite restaurant to make it more kid-friendly? I do really enjoy going out for sushi, and there's like a sushi buffet that I go to, but I find that they're, well, depending on which one you go to, there's one that on Tuesdays they have a clown that comes and does face paint and everything at that location. But other than that, I feel like I mean, there's no like playground or anything, but, and there's no kids meal per se, but there's food on there that I know my son will eat. So I don't find that they're non-kid friendly. Do you have a secret fear that you hide from your kids? I try and hide anything that I'm afraid of from my son. Like, the most blatantly obvious ones is that I don't particularly enjoy bugs of almost any sort. So I really try and hide that from my son, especially like bees and wasps. I'm not fans of. I usually run screaming from them. But I don't scream. I try not to make eye contact, and I kind of do this like awkward shimmy away without trying to make it look like I'm running away from something, because I don't want Kenton to pick up on my fear of anything. If there was one mommy duty that you never had to do again, what would it be? Potty training. Because the first little bit of potty training, I wasn't so like keen on. Right now we're doing okay, and I'm probably gonna make a video about that shortly, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If someone showed up at your house unannounced, what's one room you'd be embarrassed for them to go in? Right now my house is not clean at the moment, so any room, but I don't know if they showed up unannounced. The sad thing is it's probably my main floor. Like, Kenton's bedroom, I try and keep fairly clean. It's hard because his toys are in it. And my room, other than laundry, is always clean. And even laundry, I try and get that done every few days. So, I don't know. I would say like the main floor. The main floor gets the messiest, the quickest. Describe a time you did something really silly because you had a lack of sleep. Because I had a lack of sleep. I think I did silly. I think, oh, I have a story and I'm not going to be able to think of it. Oh, yes, I remember. So both me and Kenton had been sick. Kenton had already kind of gotten over it, so I was really tired just from like being sick and being on medicine to try and make me feel better. And that night I put Kenton to bed without realizing I didn't put a diaper on him. And it didn't take long, but he was screaming because he had peed himself. And I'm so grateful that he like peed himself right away rather than in the middle of the night, because that would have just been a nightmare. But yeah, I still to this day can't believe that I did that. So the next question is, what was the last thing you bribed your kids to do? And I said it would probably be potty training. I've been bribing Kenton to do potty training for the last little bit, and we're slowly getting out of the bribing portion of that. What's something you used to wear before you had kids but you no longer wear now that you've got kids? I I don't really think there is anything. I think that there's a time and a place for you to wear whatever you would like to wear. There are definitely certain things that I don't wear in front of Kenton, such as low-cut tops. What's the last thing you told your kid not to touch? Probably mommy's wine. He was going in the fridge earlier today to get juice, and he thought he would grab my wine, and I said, no. Let's not break that. I don't want to break that. I need it for this video. If you could choose if your kids went to bed earlier at night or slept in later in the morning, which would you pick? I would probably choose that Kenton slept in earlier. He's actually been sleeping in pretty well lately, to the point that I actually have to wake him up in the mornings to go to daycare. So it's touch and go with that one. I'm not a morning person though, so I'd rather him sleep in. Which was harder for you, potty training or sleep training? I would definitely say potty training. He was good at his babysitters, but he wouldn't potty here. Sleep training, I know it's a little controversial, but I did the cry it out method. I never let him cry it out to the point that he was like going to pass out or anything. I would go in every so often, try and calm him down, and then leave. Like, I'm not crazy, but that's what worked for us, and it's been a godsend. He's never had sleep issues, even when I transitioned him to a regular bed. If you could share 3 pieces of advice to your younger self before having kids, what would they be? Save your money. For sure. I would also just say work harder at like my career. And then I would probably also tell myself, I don't know, that everything's going to be okay. What questions might your kids ask that you aren't ready to answer? I think the most obvious one would be where his father is, which I have no intentions on lying to him about that when that question arises. I just have to make sure that my answer is age appropriate. Which household chore do you prefer your kids not to help you with? I think the easier answer for that is, because Kenton's kind of not really at a chore age, is what things do I let him do? So his chores are that he picks up his toys when he's done with them, and of course I help him with all of these. He also has to make his bed, and I make him put his dishes away. Would you rather the entire household get sick all at once or one by one? So I actually think I would say that we both get sick at the same time, because then at least he's a little more mellow, and that gives me a chance to be mellow too. If you were rushing to go somewhere with your kid, what are you most likely to forget? Everything. I've forgotten his milk at home for daycare. I've forgotten probably an entire diaper bag at one point or another. I forget everything. I lose things really easily, or misplace them, I should say. I don't lose them, but I misplace things very easily. So that's not a hard one for me to do. What song or movie title best describes your experience as a mom? I don't know, there's that one, it's about being a single mom, and I really like it, except then she talks about being like a stripper or something, and not that I have an issue with them again, but I just think it's such a powerful song. They could have gone in such a more empowering way with the song. I can't think of what it's called though. What's the most embarrassing personal care item you've had to buy in a store? I don't really think that I have a most embarrassing personal care item. I know when I was younger I probably would have said like tampons or something. And the last question is, what's one thing you've said to your kid that you never expected to say? I think a lot of the time, so like I never necessarily expected to behave like my parents. but I've been told that I behave like my parents a lot, so it's not so much something I've said. So that is all of the questions from this collaboration. I do apologize again for the lighting and everything, but if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below and leave us a nice friendly comment. Be sure to check out all of the other ladies' videos if you enjoyed this one as well, because I'm sure theirs are probably A, better lighting quality, and B, I'm sure their stories are very interesting as well. I can't wait to see them myself. All right, that is it for now. We will see you when we see you. Bye.